Allison, we have prepared a corpse identical to you as requested. It will be delivered to your wedding with the Alpha in 10 days. After I paid the sorcerer and confirmed the details of the delivery once more, the tension that had gripped me for days finally eased a little. Bidding the sorcerer farewell, I took a deep breath and returned to the lively banquet hall. The moment I stepped inside, the once boisterous room fell silent. Eric Winslow approached me, eyes filled with concern as he signed, "Allison, you were in the restroom for so long. Are you feeling unwell? I'll take you back to rest right now." When I saw my reflection in his eyes, my heart clenched. But I forced myself to calm down as I signed back. "I'm fine. All of you can continue." The lively atmosphere returned to the banquet hall. Suddenly, one of Eric's friends spoke up. "Alpha, you and Allison are getting married soon. What are you planning to do with that maid of yours?" At those words, my fingers dug into my palm, my face turning slightly pale. Someone next to him nudged him. "Allison is right here. Watch what you say." The man was indifferent. "So what? She can't hear, anyway. I'm just curious as to how Alpha plans to deal with his mistress." All eyes in the room turned to Eric. "She stays." Eric carefully cut my lamb chop into bite-sized pieces before continuing, "She's just a pet that I have to alleviate the boredom. Allison is the only one I love. But watch your mouths, everyone. Don't blame me for getting nasty if any of you bring this up to Allison." Eric's warning gaze swept across the crowd. There was a brief silence before someone, unable to hold back their curiosity, asked, "Eric, since Allison can't hear and won't know about your affair, have you and that maid ever in your home?" He left the sentence unfinished, leaving plenty of room for imagination. Eric chuckled. "Of course. It's thrilling." The banquet hall erupted into thunderous applause, with people giving him hoots of approval. "You really know how to have fun, Eric. I'm envious." The raucous cheers reached my ears, and I subconsciously tightened my grip on my utensil. No one knew that I had already regained my hearing. Even fewer knew that I had already decided to leave. I would not be marrying Eric. On the day of the wedding, all that would be waiting for him was a fake corpse identical to me. I stood up, not wanting to hear another word of this disgusting conversation. Seeing that I was about to leave, Eric quickly got up as well, signing anxiously. He was asking what was wrong. I shook my head. "I'm tired. I want to go home and rest." Without waiting for his response, I walked straight out of the private room. As soon as I stepped out of the banquet hall, I saw the plaza used for the Calmer Pax rituals. Right in the center, Eric had arranged candles to spell out, "Allison, marry me." Passers-by who saw it let out envious gasps. "Oh my God, I heard that the Alpha's maid is deaf, so he planned this whole proposal just for her. Mr. Winslow must really love his mate. He's definitely going to be a great husband after they get married." I smiled bitterly. I would have reacted the same way, convinced of Eric's love, believing he would be a good husband. I was an orphan. When I was a child, I wandered from place to place, and the beatings and abuse from cruel people left me permanently deaf. Because of that, I was always on guard around strangers, never opening my heart to anyone. When I turned 18, the moon goddess revealed that Eric and I were fated to be mates. That very day, Eric fell in love with me at first sight. I don't think someone like me is worthy of marrying the Alpha of the Calmer Pack. No matter how many times he confessed to me, I rejected him every time. Then, an earthquake struck, and he shielded me with his body without hesitation. Even as falling rocks hit him in the head, he never let go of his protective embrace. When the Pax healer finally revived him, he was so weak he could hardly move, yet he still signed to me. "As long as you're safe, that's all that matters." That was when I found out he had spent 3 whole months learning sign language, just so he could communicate with me better. The walls around my heart slowly crumbled, and I agreed to be his mate. After we got together, he remained just as loving as before. And when I had completely fallen for him, he promised to give me the grand wedding of my dreams, one that would make everyone jealous. I wanted to hear Eric say adieu with my own ears at our wedding. So, without telling him, I secretly sought out the healer and underwent half a month of treatment. But the first thing I heard wasn't a confession of love from him. Alpha, no. I can't anymore. It was the sound of Eric and Camilla Johnson, the maid, tangled up in the bed right in the room next to mine. That was when I realized he had been with her all along, hiding their affair from me. No wonder he always told me that my chances of regaining my hearing were slim. I thought he was just worried I'd be devastated if the treatment failed. But now I knew, he just wanted to keep their year-long affair a secret. Even with our wedding approaching, he never had any intention of ending things with her. I grabbed a watering can from the roadside and dumped it over the candles, drenching them all at once. Cold droplets splashed onto my face, and my mind became even clearer. I would show Eric the truth. Lies would always be exposed in the end. And I would never tolerate liars. When I finished washing up and was about to go to bed, Eric returned. Allison, why didn't you wait for me tonight? Were you feeling down? I'm free tomorrow. Do you want me to go with you to try on wedding dresses? Eric pulled me into his arms, ruffling my hair affectionately. I don't want to go. You can decide on the dress. I was leaving on the day of the wedding, anyway. The dress didn't matter. Sensing my indifference, Eric asked, Allison, you don't seem excited about our wedding at all. Do you not want to marry me? As I looked at the panic in his eyes, I wanted to tell him that yes, I didn't want to marry you. I turned away from him. No, I'm just a little tired. Let's sleep early. The next morning, the wedding dress was delivered. Ms. Allison, our Alpha designed this wedding dress for you. Please check if anything needs to be altered. As soon as the tailor finished speaking, someone standing by immediately stepped forward to translate his words into sign language. The maids whispered enviously, the Alpha is so thoughtful. He even arranged for a sign language interpreter. Not just that. I mean, look at this dress. The Alpha went to Granite Summit just to get these gemstones. Eric wrapped an arm around my waist. Darling, do you like it? I gently ran my fingers over the dress. Unfortunately, no matter how beautiful the dress was, it couldn't mend the crack in my heart. Eric seemed as though he wanted to say more, but a guard entered and whispered something into his ear. His expression changed slightly. Allison, something urgent came up. I need to step out for a bit. Try on the dress first, and let them know if you need to alter anything. After signing that, he hurried away. To put an end to my own delusions, I secretly followed him, only to find that he hadn't left the castle at all. Instead, he had gone to the conservatory. Through the window, I saw Eric's shirtless body. In front of him sat Camilla on the table, wearing a strapless mermaid wedding dress. The skirt had been lifted to her waist, and her flawless legs were wrapped around Eric's strong body in an utterly intimate position. Camilla hooked her arms around Eric's neck, her voice broken with breathless pauses. Alpha, you just ruined the dress I got today. Eric chuckled lowly and leaned into her ear, his voice husky. Didn't you want the dress just so you could wear it for me? I made sure you got an identical wedding dress just like hers, so you should return the favor tonight. Camilla glanced at the window provocatively. I instinctively avoided her gaze and turned to leave. He bought 2 identical wedding dresses for 2 different women. Eric, is this what love is to you? I pondered. The next day, Eric showed up, holding a bouquet of flowers. As I glanced at the flowers, my eyes were drawn to a few faint red marks peeking out from beneath his collar. How impressive. He could stand before me, covered in marks left by another woman, yet still put on an act of deep devotion. Perhaps it was guilt weighing on him, but Eric had been sticking to me like glue these past few days, refusing to leave my side. Even when I just wanted to step out for some fresh air, he insisted on coming along. As we walked through the marketplace, I spotted Camilla struggling against a man who was grabbing at her. The man, enraged, suddenly picked up a rock from the ground and hurled it at her. In a split second, Eric lunged forward and pulled Camilla tightly into his arms. The rock struck his shoulder. His face darkened, an expression of sheer fury contorting his features. Without hesitation, he grabbed the man by the collar and punched him hard in the face, each blow landing with a sickening thud. How dare you lay a hand on my people? You must have a death wish. The moment the man recognized Eric, he was so terrified that he began begging for mercy, too afraid to even fight back. Meanwhile, a fragment of the shattered rock had grazed my cheek, leaving behind a thin line of blood. But I stood there as if I hadn't felt a thing, silently watching Eric in his blind rage. It wasn't until Eric had calmed Camilla down that he finally noticed the blood trickling down my cheek. Calling for the healer, he ignored his own bleeding shoulder and his frantic urgency to have them tend to my wound first. The wedding is coming up. I can't have my Allison's face scratched in any way. Then, he turned to me, his face filled with guilt. He quickly signed. I'm sorry. I only protected Camilla because she's my attendant. Please don't be mad at me, okay? I didn't respond. I just told the healer not to worry about my wound and to focus on treating Eric's shoulder instead. After all, I wouldn't be attending the wedding. Whether my face bore a scar or not didn't matter. Eric mistook my silence for concern, his eyes softening. He then leaned down and pressed a tender kiss to my forehead. Allison, I know you care about me, but how can you refuse treatment? If it leaves a scar, I'll be heartbroken. I'll never let you get hurt again. But you have to understand that I couldn't just stand by while someone humiliated my attendant like that. That would be an insult to my dignity. You understand that, don't you? His explanation sounded so reasonable, so convincing, that if I hadn't known the truth about them, I might have believed him. I didn't offer any words of reassurance. I simply said I was tired and wanted to go home and rest. Eric immediately took me home. As usual, he brought me a glass of warm milk before bed and patted my back gently, coaxing me to sleep. Later that night, a sudden clap of thunder jolted me awake. I was half asleep, and my first instinct was to reach out and wrap my arms around the person beside me, only to find the space empty. I sat up and climbed out of bed. The moment I reached the second floor, I heard the unmistakable sound of a woman's moans. Camilla wrapped her arms around Eric's neck. What if Allison sees us? Eric stopped moving and cut her off coldly. She can't hear, and she won't find out. You are not allowed to bring this up to her. Camilla pouted. I know, but I can't help feeling sad when I think about how she's about to become your wife while I'm nothing more than a secret lover. Don't worry. I won't leave you even after I get married. I'll give you whatever you want, and I'll make sure you have anything Allison has, Eric reassured. The sounds coming from inside the room grew louder. I couldn't listen anymore as I turned and fled. It wasn't until dawn that I heard Eric quietly open the bedroom door. He pulled me into his arms gently and pressed a kiss to my forehead, whispering, Allison, I love you so much. We'll be married in 3 days. We're going to spend the rest of our lives together. He spoke as if nothing had happened, completely unaware of the tear that slipped from the corner of my eye. The next day, Eric had to leave for some business, leaving me alone at home. While I was in the back garden, Camilla came looking for me. Allison, you saw everything last night, didn't you? I'm surprised you could hold it in for so long. I'm pregnant, you know? It's the Alpha's first child, and he's overjoyed. He even said he'd give me most of his wealth. I'm just so happy. You'll be happy for me too, won't you? I hope your dreams come true, I said, ignoring her provocation. Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. Eric was overwhelmed with excitement, especially after I had told him yesterday that I had a surprise for him. He couldn't hide his joy. I put on the mask the sorcerer had prepared and hid among the guests, waiting for the perfect moment to slip away amidst the chaos that would follow the bride's death. As the priest finished the prayer, the grand doors of the wedding hall slowly creaked open. Every guest turned to look. Eric's face lit up with happiness. Holding the bouquet in his hands, he stepped forward to welcome his bride. Just as he reached out his hand, he froze. The person entering wasn't the bride he had longed for but a group of attendants dressed in black mourning attire. They were carrying a crystal coffin. A raging fire ignited in Eric's eyes. He immediately ordered his guards to throw them out, but one of the attendants stepped forward with a look of sympathy. Alpha, Ms. Allison took her own life yesterday. My condolences. Refusing to believe it, Eric let out a cold laugh. I am the Alpha of the Calmer pack. How dare you spread lies about my woman's death? Do you want to die? The attendant gestured toward the coffin, saying, if you don't believe it, you can see for yourself who is inside. Eric scoffed in anger. Fine, let's see what kind of trick you're playing. The moment his eyes landed on the person inside the coffin, all the strength drained from his body. Allison. His legs gave out, and he nearly collapsed.